It's a landmark, a historic site, and a gathering place. The Great Djinguereber Mosque dates back to the 1320s, and it's an extraordinary feature of Timbuktu, a city in the West African nation of Mali. There's no concrete and rebar here. With the exception of its stone foundation and some limestone blocks here and there, the Djinguereber Mosque is made of earth, mud bricks, clay from a nearby river with natural additives like shea butter and gum arabic. Does this make it more vulnerable to Mali's hot and dry springs and rainy summers? Yes, but what you're seeing here is one thing that's helped it withstand the test of time and weather, the annual event when hundreds of people join local craftsmen in helping restore the site. It's a tradition, a convergence of community and celebration, and one resident says it helps people see beyond their nation's problems and focus on laughter and living together. From Mali, we're headed to the Caribbean nation of Haiti next today on The World from A to Z. I'm Carl Azuz, happy to have you watching. We're kicking off a mini-series of reports today on turmoil in Haiti. This island nation is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. It's struggled under decades of corrupt and oppressive governments dating back to the 1950s, human trafficking, increasing gang violence, plus its vulnerability to natural disasters like hurricanes and devastating earthquakes. All of this has contributed to Haiti's deep and deadly troubles. The nation's gangs, which are large and powerful, have launched a series of attacks over the past few days. One gang leader says they're trying to overthrow Haiti's government. It declared a 3-day state of emergency earlier this week as gangs stormed 2 prisons, killing at least 12 people and allowing several thousand inmates to escape. The nation's parliament has been ineffective, and when we produced this show, its prime minister was reportedly in Puerto Rico and having trouble getting back to Haiti after he traveled to Africa. He went there to request hundreds of additional police officers to help restore order in Haiti. David Culver takes us to the nation's capital.
So we're like a block away?
Yeah.
It's as close as we can get driving, so we layer up and walk.
Oh yeah. You can already smell it. Wow, look at people just still making their commute as tires are burning right in the middle of the street here.
No police barricade, no firefighters, most seemingly unfazed. These flames have been burning for several hours. Haiti has been engulfed in turmoil for years.
We don't have a home to live in, we don't have food to eat. That's what they're shouting.
Many here now fear their country is on the brink of exploding.
Does it feel safe right now?
No.
Does it?
No, there's a thing. My country is broken right now.
These folks blame the current government and Prime Minister Ariel Henry, appointed following the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse in 2021. They want Henry to go, but he says he's not yet ready to step down. This as panicked street shootouts like this one have become a near daily occurrence. It's often a clash between police and the gangs, which have essentially taken Haiti hostage. They flaunt their weapons and wealth on TikTok, threatening police and basking in lawlessness. Many residents now living behind barricades.
This is not the gangs doing this. This is the folks that live in these neighborhoods who are putting these up to prevent gangs from coming in and kidnapping.
Using whatever might stop or slow the kidnappers. Efforts to protect families and preserve innocence. That innocence shattered for others. This 14-year-old says he was recruited by a gang at 11. I want to change my way of life, he says, with a heavy look of shame. At an early morning food distribution, we meet dozens of women who have felt the wrath of gang violence. At times, we notice a lost stare in their eyes. All of them have been victims, so there's nobody here who has not been a victim.
We'll be following up on this story in the days ahead with a look at just how widespread gang activity has become in Haiti. On this date in world history. A controversial U.S. Supreme Court decision on March 6, 1857 deepened the divide over slavery in America. Dred Scott was born into slavery in Virginia. He later sued for his freedom because his owners had taken him to free territory for several years before moving back to a slave state. The High Court ruled against Scott in 1857, saying African Americans were not citizens and weren't entitled to the same rights under the U.S. Constitution. The case was highly polarizing in the years leading up to the Civil War. One of the world's most widely used pain relievers was trademarked on this date in 1899. Aspirin's active ingredient had been utilized for centuries before that, but German chemist Felix Hoffmann was credited with finding a way to stabilize the drug and make it easier to take. His company Bayer then began selling it as aspirin.
World of knowledge. The ancient region of Mesopotamia was largely located in what modern-day country? Egypt, Israel, Iran, Iraq. Historians say Mesopotamia once included parts of Syria and Turkey and much of what is now the nation of Iraq.
Mesopotamia was part of the Fertile Crescent, home to some of the world's most ancient civilizations, which spread out over the region that included the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. They still flow through the nation of Iraq, but neither the rivers nor the region are as they once were.
The Tigris River and its twin, the Euphrates, are important to the Middle East, but the Tigris is drying up.
Our life depends on the Tigris. If the water level drops, our agriculture and all our region will be damaged.
In Iraq, the water level has dropped to 35% of its average over the last decade, and that has farmers concerned for their crops.
This year we won't be able to plant a single leaf. This is due to the lack of water and the increasing costs of chemical fertilizers. And if we cultivate, we find ourselves stuck with the crops, as the imported crops are less expensive.
Iraqis blame Turkey where the water originates. They say the Turks are holding back the river's natural flow into Iraq. But Turkish officials say that Iraqi farmers need to be more efficient with the water they have. The farmers tend to flood their fields instead of using irrigation. It's a process that the farmers have used since ancient Sumerian times, but it results in huge water losses. Unless Turkey and Iraq reach an agreement about the water, or until Iraqi farmers find alternative ways to water their crops, the river in the region will continue to shrink.
We were displaced due to war, to siege, and now we're going to be displaced because of the lack of water. If there's no more water, we will be forced to move. It would be impossible to live in these areas.
The U.S. Northeast and Midwest are our destinations today. From the Green Mountain state of Vermont, it's great to be flying with the Eagles. Mr. Gratton's class at Glover Community School is watching from the town of Glover. And from the city of Muscatine in the Hawkeye state of Iowa, shout out to Mr. Kennedy's students at Muscatine High School. The Muskies are awesome. Michelangelo's David, Leonardo's Mona Lisa, the Venus de Milo. Some of the world's most famous works of art have been recreated in plastic. The Art of the Brick exhibition has opened in London, brick as in Legos. The man who created this says he played with the toys as a kid, but found later in life that they could be used as an art medium. His exhibition has more than 100 builds, reportedly put together over the course of 20 years, and they're glued so there's no risk of someone like sneezing and knocking off an arm. He should have a stage name like Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raffaello. That takes care of the Ninja Turtles, but let's not forget Botticello, Brickskiat, Plasticasso, and Albrecht Dürer. See, when you sculpt with Legos, you're just one block party away from taking it to the Banksy, y'all. I'm Carl Azuz, and that's the world from A to Z.